America is composed mainly of minorities, and it's the minorities that make America what it is. So tonight, in order to get to the nitty-gritty of America, we're going to ask certain members of certain minority groups what they think of the way the government is spending their tax dollar. Now, our first guest is of Russian origin, Mr. Kropowski. Now tell me, Mr. Kropowski, how do you feel about the way the government is spending your tax dollar?
Whatever America is doing is okay with Kropowski. If America, that darling, wants it, she can spend how much she wants, where she wants it. As long as they're not telling Kropowski, Kropowski don't care.
Then you don't mind if we spend $20.5 billion a year on going to the moon.
You had to tell me. Until now, I was too happy. You had to make me miserable. Go peddle your questions someplace else.
Tell me, Mr. Kropowski, are you in favor of sending foreign aid?
It's foreign, Boychik. You got to send it.
Then all in all, you don't mind the way the country spends your money.
I told you, Boobchik, everything in America is okay with Kropowski. When I was coming to America, Statue of Liberty waving at me, I started waving myself back on her. I love America. God bless America. God bless America. Land that I love.
Last year, Mr. Kropowski.
Wait a minute, Boychik.
Yes?
Are you interrupting America?
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
Sorry is not good enough. It's a pity you're living in the kind of a country where they can't send you to Siberia. Proceed with your question.
Okay. Last year, we spent $24 billion on the war in Vietnam.
24 billion. Do you know how hard I have to work to make $24 billion? I think Americans got to learn the meaning of a dollar. In the old country was a wonderful life. We didn't need it fancy houses with swimming pools. We didn't need it fancy fur coats, expensive clothing, Cadillacs, Lincoln Continental.
Well, tell me then, how come you came here?
Who can live like that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kropowski.
Notre Dame.
Thank you. Well, now to move along, our next gentleman is a Mexican-American, Mr. Hernandez. Now, Mr. Hernandez, how do you feel about the fact that the government spends only 2 cents out of every tax dollar on education?
Well, can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
How come in a presidential election it is possible for one man to get less votes than his opponent and still get elected president of the United States?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Hernandez. We're not really dealing with that question tonight.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Smothers, for showing my lack of education, but when you only spend 2 cents, you get what you pay for.
Next we have a lady from New York, and her name is Mrs. Klein. Mrs. Klein, how do you feel about the way the American government is spending your tax dollar?
Well, I feel, frankly, let me see. I tell you, I consider it a privilege and an honor to pay taxes. And I'll tell you, I feel this way with the taxes that I pay. I feel that the road that I drive on, that's my road. And the lovely park on the corner, it's really my park. And the house I live on is near a sidewalk. That's my sidewalk.
Tell me, how long have you lived in your house?
The house is not mine. It'll never be mine.
Why not?
Because I own a sidewalk and a road and a park. Who can afford a house?
So, Mrs. Klein, do you think the government is living, let's say, living high on the hog?
On the what?
I said, do you think the government is living high on the hog?
Well, listen. Live and let live.
Hey, did you know that a great deal of your tax dollar goes to foreign aid?
Oh, that's wonderful. Foreign aid is a very necessary thing. After all, look, I say the countries of this world is like one big happy family. I look at it this way. You take France, right? Mm-hmm. France is exactly like my Uncle Nathan. He takes and he hates. Israel is like my gardener. You give him a few dollars, he plants a tree. And Red China is exactly like my sister-in-law, Debbie. Everybody knows she's there, but nobody wants to talk to her. Thank you very much. A pleasure to listen to you.
Wonderful lady. Now, from San Francisco, we'd like to talk to Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, the Smothers Brothers Minority Report would like to know your feelings about the way America spends its money.
Well, now, all things being equal, I'd say I was satisfied.
Then you're not worried that 46% of our budget is spent on defense.
Oh, no, man. After all, we've got a big defense budget, too.
What do you mean, we?
Well, we is all black people, dig?
Uh-huh.
And we think America is such a wonderful country. We've been watching the techniques it uses to solve its problems around the world and then applying them to ourselves. For instance, you know how some Americans see communists under every bed?
Yes.
Well, we've started to see bigots under every sheet.
Mm-hmm. In what other ways are you employing the wonderful techniques of America?
Well, the black man has now got a Peace Corps, and we intend on sending our men all over the United States. We're going to teach the Americans how to clean their own kitchens, take care of their own kids, and shine their own shoes.
Well, tell me this. How do you feel about foreign aid?
Now, that could be another answer to our problems. See, all we'd have to do to get foreign aid is to start a war with America and lose.
Yeah, but what if you win?
Well, then we'll pay taxes and you can try welfare for a while, Dave.
I understand, Mr. Harris. Well, excuse me, I've got to run along now.
Good, I'll count to 10.
Our last gentleman hails from Orange County, California, and his name is Mr. Davis. Sir, we're doing a minority report, but, excuse me, but what minority are you a member of?
Oh, my goodness, I'm glad you asked that. I'm a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Tell me, is that a minority?
Of course it is.
Well, it must be a pretty big one.
Well, we wouldn't belong to a minority unless it was big. No, the way I feel, and my lodge brothers agree, this country is composed mainly of minorities. Mm-hmm. Now, if we all just think of ourselves as minorities and work together, well, we can build one unified majority known as America.
That's very nice.
Want to hear a Jew joke?
No.
This gets big laughs from a Jewish friend.
Yeah, I bet. Tell me, Miss...
Later.
Yeah, Mr. Davis, much later. Now, how do you feel about foreign aid?
I'm all for it. All for it if it's on a business-like basis. Well, I think our government should be run like a business. Get something for your money. Protect your investment. For example, now, we've poured an awful lot of money into France. Now, I don't propose that we should run France or interfere in her affairs in any way.
Well, then what should we do?
Well, what did we do with London Bridge, huh? Queen Mary?
You mean?
That's right. Ship it.
Ship it?
F.O.B. Detroit. Ship it. It'll really beautify that city.
Well, tell me, what about the spending here at home?
Spending here at home. Ow, now that's a real sore point with me. We're dumping too much money into these so-called ghetto areas. There shouldn't be any ghettos. Why, let them move into my neighborhood. Last week, a Jewish fella moved in right across the way. And they say a Negro family bought the house right next door, and they're welcome.
Very good attitude, sir. Excuse me, I have to move along now.
And I'll be moving right with you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings to a close our new weekly feature, the Smothers Brothers Minority Report. Until next time, we'd like to wish all of our minorities a very good week. Oh, in the interest of fair play, we tried to find some majorities for a majority report. But the funny thing is that this country just doesn't seem to have any.